What happens when a financial institution's internal systems go completely offline? Imagine a treasure trove of sensitive data sitting online, completely unprotected, with no password or encryption to stop anyone from sifting through it. That's exactly what cybersecurity researcher Jeremiah Fowler stumbled upon while investigating a recent data leak. The exposed database, belonging to one of the largest credit unions in the U.S., contained 378.7 gigabytes of backup files, enough to fill hundreds of hard drives, with details ranging from server configurations to hashed passwords and operational metadata. But here's where it gets tricky. The true owner of this data remains a mystery. Was it the credit union itself, or a third-party vendor handling their systems? And how long had this information been left exposed before someone finally noticed? Let's dive into the details and why this incident sparks a crucial debate about data security practices today. The database in question, discovered by Fowler and reported to Website Planet, was alarmingly accessible. It required no login, no encryption, and no barriers to entry. Inside, 14 files in .gz, .sql, and .twbx formats revealed internal usernames, email addresses, and what appeared to be hashed credentials. While no direct member data, like names or social security numbers, was visible in plain text, the exposure of system keys and internal logic could still be catastrophic in the wrong hands. Hackers could use this information to map out the credit union's network, identify vulnerabilities, or even launch targeted phishing attacks against employees. And this is the part most people miss. Even backup files, often seen as harmless snapshots, can act as a blueprint for cyber criminals to infiltrate core systems. The data likely belongs to Navy Federal Credit Union, NFCU, a nonprofit organization serving over 14.5 million military members, veterans, and their families. With assets exceeding $180 billion, NFCU's security lapses, if confirmed, raise urgent questions about how organizations protect sensitive data. Fowler immediately notified NFCU, and the database was secured within hours. Yet no response was received, leaving gaps in understanding who managed the database or how long it had been exposed. Could others have accessed it before the fix? Only a forensic audit would tell. But the incident highlights a critical truth. Even organizations with good intentions can fall victim to preventable mistakes. One of the most intriguing aspects of this breach was the presence of Tableau workbook files, TWBX. These aren't just pretty dashboards. They're detailed maps of how NFCU tracks financial performance, loan metrics, and operational KPIs. The XML files inside revealed database table names, server connections, and formulas used to calculate lending ratios and efficiency scores. While no customer data was directly visible, this metadata could help attackers understand how the credit union operates, potentially identifying patterns or weaknesses to exploit later. Think of it as a puzzle. Each exposed file is a piece that, when combined, creates a roadmap to the heart of the organization's systems. But the controversy doesn't end there. What if the real threat isn't the data itself, but the third-party software or services exposed in these files? In 2023, Gartner predicted that 45% of global organizations will face supply chain attacks by 2025, costing businesses an estimated $138 billion annually. If NFCU's backup files revealed which vendors or tools they use, attackers could target those companies next. Is the credit union responsible for a breach caused by a third-party vendor? Or should vendors be held to higher security standards when handling sensitive data? This is a debate worth having, and one that organizations across industries need to address proactively. So what can organizations learn from this incident? First, treat backups with the same rigor as live data. Encrypt them using AES 256 or similar standards, and never store encryption keys in the same location. Second, audit access controls regularly to ensure backups aren't accidentally left public. Third, monitor all interactions with backup files. Unusual read-write activity could signal a breach in progress. And finally, don't overlook third-party vendors. If a contractor's systems are compromised, your data might be too. As Fowler emphasized, his findings aren't accusations, but cautionary tales. The goal isn't to shame NFCU or others, but to spark conversations about how we can all do better. To be clear, no evidence suggests NFCU's members were harmed by this breach. Fowler's report is purely educational, designed to raise awareness about the risks of unsecured data. Still, the incident serves as a wake-up call. Even the most well-intentioned institutions can slip up. How do you balance the need for accessibility with the imperative to protect sensitive data? Should organizations be held to stricter standards when third-party vendors are involved? Share your thoughts in the comments, because the only way to close these security gaps is by discussing them openly.